Movies on the Brain. I'm Jason, and today we're diving into the gritty streets of New York with Caught Stealing. Directed by Darren Aronofsky and starring Austin Butler, Zoe Kravitz, Regina King, Matt Smith, Liev Schreiber, and Vincent D'Onofrio. This one's packed with raw energy and a relentless sense of tension. It's stylish, it's violent, it thrives in the chaos of a city that never stops moving. Let's dig into Caught Stealing and see if it delivers the punch it promises. Caught Stealing opened in theaters on August 29th, 2025, with a budget ranging from $40 million to $65 million. During its 5-week theatrical run, it earned $19 million domestically and $13.6 million internationally, making a worldwide total of $32.7 million. Its opening Labor Day weekend saw it earn $9.5 million, finishing number 3 in the box office, behind only the 50th anniversary re-release Jaws and Weapons, numbers 2 and 1 respectively, with Jaws being re-released the same weekend. Its final week in theaters saw it earn $257,364, finishing its box office run at number 19. In 1998, Henry Hank Thompson is an alcohol-dependent bartender living in the Lower East Side, where his girlfriend Yvonne works as a paramedic. He calls his mother in Patterson, California every day, especially to discuss their shared love of the San Francisco Giants. A star baseball prospect in high school, Hank is haunted by a drunken car crash that killed his friend Dale and left him with a career-ending knee injury. Hank's British punk neighbor Russ Bender returns to London to see his ailing father, leaving Hank to care for his cat, Bud. Searching for Russ, 2 Russian mobsters, Alexei and Pavel, viciously beat Hank, resulting in Hank losing a kidney, as well as his ability to drink. After the Russians break into Russ's apartment, narcotics detective Elise Roman questions Hank and reveals Russ is a drug dealer connected to the notorious Hasidic brothers, Lipa and Shmuley Drucker. Finding a key hidden in Bud's litter box, Hank notifies Roman when the Druckers search Russ's apartment. After spending a drunken night at Paul's bar, Hank leaves his clothes outside his building. Interrogated by the Russians and their Puerto Rican associate Colorado, Hank cannot remember what happened to the key, but the mobsters are interrupted by his neighbor Dwayne. Hank leaves the injured Bud with Yvonne and remembers taking the key to the bar. Chased by the Druckers, he informs Colorado, who mentions Yvonne. Suddenly realizing she is in danger, he races back to her apartment, only to find she had been executed, being shot point blank in the head. A guilt-stricken Hank confides in Roman, who dreams of retiring to Tulum, Colorado, and the Russians arrive in league with the corrupt Roman, but claim they are not the group responsible for Yvonne's murder. Hank is brought to Paul's bar, where Colorado kills regular barfly Amtrak, but Roman kills him before he can also murder Paul. Lying that the key is in the basement strong room safe, Paul retrieves a shotgun, but is shot dead in the ensuing chaos. Hank locks himself in the strong room, forcing the others to leave empty-handed. Hank recovers the key from the homeless man Jason left in the clothes he abandoned. Russ returns home, but is hit in the head with a baseball bat when Hank mistakes him for an intruder. Russ explains that after selling drugs for the Druckers in Colorado's nightclubs, he was forced to involve Roman, who owes money to the Russian's boss. The key unlocks a storage unit with just over $4 million he was meant to split between the various parties on the day he left for London. Fearing for his life, Russ prepares to take the money and flee the country, leaving Hank as the fall guy, but Hank knocks him unconscious. Meeting Roman and the Russians at Flushing Meadows, Hank offers them Russ and the key in exchange for Bud. Russ panics, killing Alexei with Pavel's gun before escaping with Hank and Bud, and suggests that Roman might have to be the one who killed Yvonne. They escape through a crowd at Shea Stadium on the subway, where a severely concussed Russ succumbs to his injuries and Hank boards a bus with Bud to Coney Island. Hank is woken on the beach by a call from Roman, who has framed him for the various murders and threatens his mother by telling Hank her address, demanding he bring the key to the Russian supper club. Calling to warn his mother, Hank surrenders himself to the Druckers. They agree to kill Roman in exchange for Hank leading them to the money, first bringing him to their mother's Shabbos dinner. Hank is zip-tied to the car's steering wheel while the heavily armed brothers storm the club. Spotting Roman, Hank burns his restraint with the car ladder and gives chase with a bat. He subdues the vengeful Pavel and manages to injure Roman by impaling her foot with a broken baseball bat handle. At which point the Druckers arrive and shoot her dead. Hank reveals he hid the key in the bandage on Bud's leg, and the sympathetic brothers decide to let him live with a share of the money. They force him to drive for the first time since his crash when Hank notices that Lipa has Yvonne's lighter. Realizing the implication, the brothers admit they killed Yvonne to send a message to Hank for evading them. Aware that he's the only one wearing a seatbelt, Hank increases speed and purposefully crashes the car into a steel pillar, mirroring the crash of his earlier life, this time killing the two brothers. Sometime later, Hank poses as Russ, using his British passport to escape the country with Bud and half of the money. Calling his mother to let her know he is safe, Hank arrives in Tulum to begin a new life as he dreamed of doing, having mailed his mother the other half of the money. Now let's look at the cast and some of their other roles. Austin Butler as Henry Hank Thompson. Other roles for Austin Butler include Thomas in Dude, Jake Pearson in Aliens in the Attic, and James Garrett in the TV show Zoe 101. Regina King as Detective Elise Roman. Other roles for Regina King include Margie Hendricks in Ray, Dynamite in Planes, Fire, and Rescue, and Marcy Tidwell in Jerry Maguire. Zoe Kravitz as Yvonne. Other roles for Zoe Kravitz include Selena Kyle in 2022's The Batman, Christina in Insurgent, and Millie in Kin. Matt Smith as Russ Binder. Other roles for Matt Smith include the 11th Doctor in the TV show Doctor Who, Milo in Morbius, and Morgan in Patient Zero. Liev Schreiber as Lipa Drucker. Other roles for Liev Schreiber include J.J. Kellogg in Asteroid City, Roland Pollard in A Rainy Day in New York, and Frank in Repo Man. Vincent D'Onofrio as Schmully Drucker. Other roles for Vincent D'Onofrio include Carl Starger in The Cell, Edgar in Men in Black, and Private Leonard Gomer Pyle in Full Metal Jacket. Benito Martinez Ocasio as Colorado. Other roles for Benito Martinez Ocasio include Felipe in Cassandro, Oscar Mejias in Happy Gilmore 2, and Wolf in Bullet Train. Griffin Dunn as Paul. Other roles for Griffin Dunn include Nikki Pearson in the TV show This Is Us, Dr. Voss in Dallas Buyers Club, and Mr. Bixler in My Girl. Carol Kane as Bubby. Other roles for Carol Kane include Valerie in The Princess Bride, The Ghost of Christmas Past, Present in Scrooged, and Dawn in The Bounty Hunter. Yuri Zolokolnikov as Alexei. Other roles for Yuri Kolnikov include Volkov and Tenant Oleg in Hunt the Killer, Ivan in The Hitman's Bodyguard. Nikita Kukushkin as Pavel. This has been Nikita Kukushkin's only English role. DeFaro Woon Tai as Dale. Other roles for DeFaro Woon Tai include Ray in Warfare, Adam in Fitting In, and Bear Smallhill in I guess I didn't put what TV show it is. I don't remember. Will Brill as Jason. Other roles for Will Brill include Evan in Test Pattern, Scott Brown in the TV show The OA, and Duncan in Girls Against Boys. Action Bronson as Amtrak. This has been Action Bronson's only role so far. Greg Abud as Dwayne. This has been Greg Abud's only role so far. Tina Huerta as a Tulum bartender. Other roles for Tina Huerta include Namor in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Juan in The Forever Purge, and Rafael Quintero in the TV show Narcos Mexico. Mackenzie J. Scott as the hero batter. The only other role for Mackenzie J. Scott, the only other role Mackenzie J. Scott has had is Micah in the TV show Manhood. Tonic as Bud the Cat. Tonic has two other roles you may have seen him in, those being Church in 2019's Pet Cemetery and Dewey in 2023's Thanksgiving. Laura Dern in an uncredited role as Nick's mother. Other roles for Laura Dern include Bobby in Wild, Jennifer in The Tale, and Annie in Breakdown. I went into this movie having only seen one full trailer and knowing a good portion of the cast in the film, not really knowing much about the film. Darren Aronofsky absolutely crushed it with directing this. I feel like he was the right director for this. Austin Butler may not win an Oscar for his role in this, but I have a feeling he'll get nominated. If not, I'm gonna be surprised. Austin Butler and Zoe Kravitz have really good chemistry. And speaking of Zoe Kravitz, she was a joy in this. I was very surprised at how little she was actually in the film, though. Bad Bunny was incredible as his role in this as well. It was so much fun. Regina King's character was so well written that the twist of her being involved with the whole drug money thing really caught me off guard. Well done by everyone involved with keeping that twist close to the vest. I'll be honest, I didn't recognize Lee Schreiber or Vincent D'Onofrio one bit until I actually did my research for this review. And then playing brothers was a fun choice. I definitely wasn't expecting the movie to be as violent as it was. The stabbing of Detective Roman's foot made me wince when it happened. The whole thing going back to Hank's car accident that killed his friend Dale, and that's how he kills the Drucker brothers, was so visceral, especially in D-Box. It was absolutely incredible. The score and soundtrack are both incredible. I also love seeing Laura Dern in the scene right before the credits as Austin Butler's mom. Honestly, what a fun movie, and it's crazy that I was the only one in the theater for this. Now let's look at some fun facts and trivia for this. Bud the Cat is played by Tonic, a film set pro who was a rock star on day one, according to screenwriter Charlie Huston. Tonic trainer Melissa Millett ran 2 training sessions with Austin Butler, teaching him how and when to feed Tonic to get the right action from him. Austin is an incredible cat trainer, says Millett. He was very, very good at being a partner, being a team, and leaving space for us with everything that was going on. One moment that impressed both Huston and director Darren Aronofsky involving Tonic's inspecting Butler after his character has just suffered an intense beating. I have no idea why Tonic was doing that at the time, or if Tonic might have been checking it out. Aronofsky said, kept playing that over and over again when I got those dailies because I was like, look at this brilliant cat. I would work with Tonic in a second again over many human actors. Hank, Austin Butler, walks past Kim's video. This now defunct shop was once a thriving New York movie rental business, was made famous or infamous in the 2023 documentary Kim's Video. The NL wildcard tiebreaker game that Hank turns off at the end of the movie was won by the Chicago Cubs, who defeat Hank's San Francisco Giants and advance to the playoffs. And that's a wrap on Caught Stealing. What begins with a spark unravels into a spiral of chaos, where every step drags you deeper into danger and nothing feels safe for long. It's sharp, it's relentless, and it leaves you rattled long after the credits roll. This is Jason. This movie's on the brain. I'm Jason, and I'll see you the next time the city lights flicker.